What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the G Show. I'm Justin here with Cyrus, as always, covering the G1 a little bit later this year. Wouldn't you say, Cyrus?
Yeah, normally we would do this in the summer when we have a lot more free time for the most part. But now that it's in the fall, I it might be a tougher watch for me, with school and work and stuff. But I'm gonna manage through. I always do.
We got to do it for the people. The people love to hear your opinions, especially on the G1 and New Japan. It's been a very odd year for them. I mean, usually by this time this year, we would have multiple match of the year candidates from the G1. Last year was a little. I mean, we would. I mean, last year was a little
Yeah.
bit of a down year, but we still had a great run from Shingo, a great run from Will Ospreay. We had a number of really good matches, but then we had a number of really kind of, not so good matches. Obviously, 2019 was some sort of a transitional year for New Japan as their Gaijin talent, the Omega, the Young Bucks. A lot of people have left to go on to greener pastures in AEW in the United States, and New Japan was kind of left with kind of like a bare bones roster. And then this year was supposed to pick up. I thought Wrestle Kingdom parts 1 and 2 were pretty solid shows. I mean, I don't think anyone's really talking about them today, but they were solid enough on their own. And then, of course, COVID-19 hit, which caused New Japan to not run for a number of months. I mean, the G1 was actually kind of unfazed by this, right? So, because I mean, the Olympics were supposed to be in Japan this summer. The G1 was always supposed to be in the fall, and we still get the G1 lineup. We got a kind of a truncated version of the New Japan Cup a month ago, and now we're rolling right into G1 season. So here we are, back at another year, another G1. I know, Cyrus, you've been pretty down on New Japan. I got to admit, I've been pretty down on them as well, but we're going to try our best to do a preview of what's coming up. And give you guys just kind of like a lineup of what to expect from the G show. We will be updating you guys on every single, well, not every single show, but every show that has matches that have standouts from every single night throughout the next couple of, throughout the next month really until the finals. And we're gonna go through it that way. Just we're a couple hours away from night one. Obviously, this will be hitting you guys on Saturday. We're going to come with our first episode on Monday. So, Cyrus, are you excited for the G1 overall before we tap into the first card, or how are you feeling before we get into it?
Before you sent me the card earlier today of what night one was going to be, well, night 1 and 2, I wasn't really too excited. Like you said earlier, like, with the Elite leaving and New Japan having a super bare bones roster, and they haven't got anybody new. So it is still bare bones, we still are getting the same people that are here. I think New Japan has a really huge roster issue, but a lot of these people do have consistently have good matches. So I can't really fault them for not wanting to bring anybody in or do rematches over and over, because shit, it works. I can't fault that.
It's incredibly, again, it's incredibly solid roster. I mean, you're not lying. Like, any roster that has Okada, Tanahashi still active. Ospreay. We'll get into Ospreay in a second, but all these people that are on this card, I mean, to me, just from top to bottom, it really does look like there's some solid matchups that can come out of it. And you know what's crazy to me is that not a lot of the blocks are filled up with the same type of the same type of wrestler. Like last year, it was way too heavy on block A, right? And it just ended up overshadowing block B, because wasn't Mox and Kenta and everyone on one block, and then we never wanted to watch block B.
B block was just I think it just had Naito and that was about it. And Shingo, because Shingo was in A block as well. Yeah, A block was super stacked. So this year, I do agree that it is kind of spread out, but there's still similar things. It's also a problem that I had with the New Japan Cup, where a whole bunch of Lij is on one side. You know, so of course we're gonna get the Evil and Sonata match. We're gonna get Sonata versus Naito, just like the same usual stuff. Like I really wish they would kind of like spread these guys out, but that's kind of hard to do. Like it's been 2 years now since Zack Sabre Jr. has been part of Suzuki-gun, and he's never been in the same block as Miro Suzuki.
Right.
That is like a very like, let's run that up. Like, let's do that.
Well, I will say this year they did not do it again.
Yeah, so it's just like, why aren't you doing stuff like that? Like a lot of people are in the same like blocks as before, but they're just gonna have the same stellar matches that they kind of had last year. So
yeah,
my expectations are fairly the same.
So let's get into the blocks before we get into the first 2-night schedule. With Block A, we have Kota Ibushi, Jeff Cobb, who just started doing New Japan full time here, Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, Will Ospreay, Shingo Takagi, Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, Jay White, and Yujiro Takahashi. Wow, man, stacked to say the least.
Yeah, very stacked. I'm excited that Shingo is possibly going to wrestle Okada at some point. I don't know where is that on the roadmap, but I'm looking forward to that, and him and Ibushi as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like even more, there was a dog that was like yelping outside my window. Did you hear that? That was kind of crazy. I don't want anyone to think that was Roman. Roman is right here chilling. He's always here with us when we record all of our wrestling content on the A-Show Network. But I mean, that's going to be crazy. But also we're going to get another Will Ospreay Shingo match as well. We're gonna get Shingo and Suzuki as well. One person. Who's one person you think is going to be like a sleeper in Block A? I think my sleeper this year, and I think this is someone who has a lot to prove because he hasn't been super active this year. I think Jay White has a lot to prove, and I think they have a lot to explain with where Jay White is, with Evil being the new quote unquote leader of the Bullet Club. I think there's a story there, but I think Jay White to me is going to be like a shot coming out of the block.
Yeah, I agree as well. Jay White has tons to prove. New Japan was doing like the thing every Friday, like around SmackDown time in the LA dojo. I was not watching that. Like I just don't really care for that stuff. But I'm very interested in seeing Jay White again. I'm hoping that Yujiro isn't bad. I hope he like puts on like, because he's also somebody that doesn't really get a lot of shine, so he needs to bring it.
Yeah, for sure. And he's going to be having matches against Jeff Cobb. He's going to have an Okada match. He's going to have a Shingo match. He's going to be going against some pretty top tier talent this year.
Yeah.
And he really does. You're right. He needs to bring it. But I mean, I think the one of the biggest matchups that I think everyone should be looking out for, obviously, Ibushi Okada, which we'll talk about with night one. But I think the battle of the two Gaijin aces and Will Ospreay and Jay White is going to be something to look out for. They have pushed Will Ospreay to the moon this year, and some of it, and last year as well. But Jay White is someone who got a lot very quickly in the past 2 years, and it's going to be interesting to see: are they going to officially crown Will Ospreay that guy, or do they still think very highly of Jay White? That's someone that they definitely want to keep. I'm interested in seeing that matchup and how that plays out.
I have my feelings about Will Ospreay, but that aside, like I definitely think they should really keep banking in on Jay White, because not a lot of people weren't too high on him when when he started and he was getting a lot of stuff. And I just thought his first match back, he kind of like lost to Tanahashi. I thought that did him a huge disservice, but since then he's recovered really well since, getting Omega out of there, being a decent U.S. champion, beating the hell out of Juice, then getting the world title at some point, and then
I think the issue for me has always been the cheating, and if that's something that's prevalent, because I think Jay White is a hell of a seller, he's a hell of a talent in there. Once you get away from the cheating stuff, he has great matches, and I want to see less of the cheating and more of really just like him having straight on matches, and I hope I don't know if they're gonna flip him face, because I think Evil to me is like the biggest, he's the biggest heel in the company right now. So I'm interested in seeing how they play that. But I know we have our thoughts on Will Ospreay, and I guess we can just get to it. Like Will Ospreay, obviously, a lot of people's problematic fave. He just deleted his Twitter. I'm guessing because he's probably expecting a big run in the G1, and I would imagine that he doesn't want to see a lot of that stuff going on. What people are going to say. There was a huge article that came out. I forgot the girl's name. I think it's Emily. She used to write for Uproxx. She put out a story on Will Ospreay today, and right on time.
Does it talk about the Pollyann situation and the Sadie Gibbs situation that people like to shove to the side and act like didn't happen?
And really, the New Japan shoved to the side, and I think that's going to be interesting going forward. If New Japan, and in all intents and purposes, they seem as though they are going forward with Will Ospreay, because, in my opinion, and I guess we can get to our end of the block, predictions. I think Will Ospreay is coming out of the A block this year. I think this is going to be his year.
Do you think he takes it into the finals, like wins the whole thing?
Let's get in there after we do B block.
Okay. Okay.
I want to see what's your A block pick?
Shingo. Shingo has been my favorite wrestler for the past 2 years now. Since he debuted, he has been my favorite. Topping Naito, well, I was a huge LIJ fan, so he topped everybody. Like I love him currently more than Naito. I just think he's an amazing wrestler.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get over to B block. I don't want the show to run too much, because we're gonna have a lot of shows for you guys coming up. B block has Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, Hiroki Goto, Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, Tetsuya Naito, Sonata, Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta, and Evil on the block. So we're going to be seeing some Bullet Club versus Bullet Club and Kenta versus Evil. Again, I'm not too sure of the storyline implications, because Kenta was just turned right before COVID happened, and then Evil was turned, of course, during COVID. But this is another strong block. I mean, we've got Tanahashi versus anyone could be pretty well done. I think that Zack Sabre Jr., Tanahashi always have great matches. Juice Robinson getting another chance, another shot at Tanahashi. Kenta, of course, having another shot at Tanahashi. And again, Kenta's kind of turned it around too. But I think big kind of wild card here, and I know it's kind of crazy to say this, is the double champion Tetsuya Naito, who regained the titles about 3 weeks ago. But to me, he's lost a step. He's lost several steps in the last year. And
you could check the tapes. I was a big Naito fan, man. I wanted everything good to happen to Naito, but right now, just pass on the torch to Shingo, bro. Just put your mans on, man. Just put them on.
And why I call him a wild card is because I think a lot of the quality of the B block goes as Naito goes. We know Tanahashi has lost a couple steps as well. He can still perform at a high level, as we saw with the Kota Ibushi Tanahashi finals match 2 years ago, but he's just not, where he used to be. And with Naito, we're seeing a lot of the same here, but he's, the difference between him and Tanahashi, Naito has all the belts. And, a lot of the storyline implications are going to be whoever beats Naito is going to get a title match after this. And of course, Wrestle Kingdom is in a couple of months. So Naito's going to be probably picking up a lot of W's and a few L's on this. So a lot of these matches have to hit.
Yeah. Well, as far as hitting, I don't think New Japan feels the same. I just think Naito just needs to win, so they don't have to constantly keep booking these double champion matches, even though I just let him defend it twice. Just let him defend it twice. If he loses one, maybe it's for the best. But Naito's for sure going to be a wild card, and people that normally get the upper hand on him might just get it again. Zack Sabre Jr. has beaten Naito multiple times in the past. Kenta might get a surprise win on him. You never know. Sonata is always good for a title match, I guess. But
snooze.
Yes,
you know what they're doing again? They're giving us another damn Sonata Naito match. They're giving us another match where these two are going against each other, and they're gonna have the same story of Naito not taking him seriously.
Yeah, that, and don't forget about him and Zack Sabre Jr. That is going to be just mashing R2 to reverse.
Reversies on lock for sure. It's going to be, again, super interesting to see these matches. But again, we're going to get yet another Evil versus Naito match. We just saw this match a month ago.
Yeah, and I'm not looking forward to it because I didn't think that match was too great either. But I know people are gonna be like, "Oh man, you're wilding," but I think that Hiroki Goto will. I think he should probably like pick up a win over Naito.
That'd be a cool
He,
match to
I think, I know people, he's a loser, blah blah blah, this and that, but hey man, so is Ibushi. But
have.
I like Hiroki Goto a lot. I like his wrestling style a lot, and I think he kind of deserves a lot more.
Yeah,
So
he
I
really
hope he
does.
gets it this year. Like, come on, it's COVID season. Nobody gives a shit. Just let him win one, and then have a match at King of Pro Wrestling or some shit.
Yeah, that would be that would definitely be interesting. Let's get into the schedule here, just so that we can kind of wrap up the show with our predictions. But who do you think is coming out the B block? You think Goto's coming out the B block?
I want Goto to come out the B block.
Man, I think it kind of that would be a great match with him. He and Ospreay have had some bangers before. I would be I really think to cement that win. Because I do think Will Ospreay is going to come out of the G1 as the winner. I think to have that finals, it would have to be Tanahashi. I think they want to do that. I think they want to have Tanahashi Ospreay and have Ospreay go over on Tanahashi.
Sure, I wouldn't be mad at it, but my prediction would be Hiroki Goto, and him versus Shingo in the finals would be something amazing, and either one of them could win it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to night one of the G1 Climax. It's from the Edion Arena, Osaka. We have quite a couple matches here. We're going to skip past the preliminary matches. Very few of those in these cards, by the way. So
thank God. Oh my God. Please get rid of this concept. Just do it how Stardom does it, bro. Just have have both blocks on similar nights and just have different matches, and then every now and then you could sprinkle a tag match or something. Like it doesn't need to be the way it was like all these other years.
But in pure night one fashion, we got a pretty strong card. We have Will Ospreay versus Takahashi. Yujiro. We have Jeff Cobb versus Taichi, Tomohiro Ishii versus Suzuki, Shingo versus Jay White, and Okada versus Ibushi in the main event. This is one of the cards of the year to me. I think every there's a lot of bangers on here. Like this is the matches that I wanted New Japan to be giving us, from the beginning. And I know, like, obviously, probably some of the weaker matches will probably be Ospreay versus Takahashi. I think that's the easy W. I think we'll both agree with easy W for Ospreay, easy W for Jeff Cobb or Taichi. Either way, it could go there. But I think you have Ishii versus Suzuki, Shingo versus fucking Jay White, and you have a main event. They already tore the house down earlier this year at Wrestle Kingdom, but you have Ibushi versus Okada. Come on, man. This is nothing lower than 4.5 for at least one.
I would agree. I think Jay White and Shingo are going to be amazing matches. Ishii and Moro Suzuki always have amazing matches. I'm just worried. I'm not worried because my expectations will be low, but I hopefully Ospreay can get a great match out of Yujiro, and hopefully Jeff Cobbs can get something out of Taichi.
I hope so. I really do. But Taichi had a couple strong matches, when they first came back. But not gonna lie, but I think a lot of people's expectations are like very low for his matches. But yes. I again, night one tonight, I'm gonna be locked in. I cannot wait to watch these matches, and I hope that. And what's really cool about the G1? There are time limits to these matches, so we know the main event won't go that crazy long.
Thank God.
Night two will be Sunday, so it's going to be a back-to-back nights here. It's going to be a Friday night over here, Saturday night over here as well. So Sunday, September 20th, it will be night 2 of the G1. This will be the B block. It's going to be Juice Robinson versus Yoshihashi, Toru Yano versus Sanada, Hiroki Goto versus Kenta, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Evil, and in the main event, Tanahashi versus Naito. Again, 2 nights in a row with some damn bangers, okay? Like
with Wrestle Kingdom main events on the show.
Exactly, like some
kind of insane.
Here. Obviously, we're gonna get the joke match with Toru Yano. I think that he might pick up the W here. Juice Robinson, Yoshihashi could go either way. I think Juice should probably pick up the win here as well and start. I don't want Juice to go 0-5 or something like that again.
I hate when they do that to him, but they might do the early losing streak thing. again, and then Juice just being like, oh man, I really gotta start getting some wins, man. I know y'all talking crap, but like I really gotta get my stuff together. And then like later on during the tournament, he becomes like he plays spoiler in like some people's like bracket, I guess. So nobody goes
Yeah, for sure.
undefeated.
I think another one that's going to be completely cool and probably like blow a lot of people's expectations out of the water. Hiroki Goto versus Kenta. This is a rematch from earlier this year. I think it's going to be really good. I think Goto was one of the few people that actually got something good out of Kenta in the past year since he's been to New Japan. Obviously, Kenta's laying into his heel gimmick. I think he's really good at it. I wasn't too high on him last year, but I saw a couple of matches that he's had over here in the States. And I thought that they've been pretty solid. He's never going to be the Kenta that I used to watch from ROH, but as long as he can still give you some personality, which is all I've asked for, that's going to be great. What are your thoughts on Zack Sabre Jr. versus Evil? I think Evil has been kind of to me one of my like most overrated, most wrestler I don't want to see on any card.
I would kind of give that title to Sonata, especially when they giving him title matches with Okada. But this is a new Evil, so I don't think it's going to be the same match as before. So Zack Sabre Jr. is most likely gonna. I think he's going to be in a Tim Thatcher kind of thing where he's not doing a lot of slams or anything. He's really just trying to hunker Evil down, and I just feel like Evil will probably overpower him and get the win.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a solid match. I just think that like Zack Sabre Jr. got a lot to work with with this.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to do with Evil. There's gonna be a lot of cheating, but there's gonna be a lot of cheating on both sides because that's what happens.
Hey man, if you're new to the show and you're new to hearing my voice, just know match getting maybe a 5-star reduction if cheating is applied.
If Red Shoes is like an idiot for 20 minutes.
I hate cheating. I get that they're a heel character, but I just hate it. Especially when they go the distance and they really have a long match and then they just DQ finish. That really ruins it for me. That does not I don't enjoy that a lot. Like it feels a waste of my time.
Oh, for sure. And I think we're gonna get a lot of cheating. Then we're gonna get a lot of Suzuki Gun cheating. It's gonna be crazy. Hold on, let me put Roman down. He's getting very excited talking about B Block. I think it's his favorite block. And for the main event, you have Naito versus Tanahashi. These two have pretty much, to me, I can't think of a bad match they've ever had. And I think even with their limitations, I think even with their limitations, I think Tanahashi, the king that he is, can take Naito to the limit here and actually pull out a really good match. I think Naito does come out on top. I think they're gonna do what they always do with the incumbent champion and have them go undefeated until probably around the last couple of nights of the G1. But again, it's two really strong cards. Which night are you looking forward to the most? The first night or the second night?
First night. I'm really excited to see Shingo just take over and win it, man. I'm really hoping that he wins it. So I'm watching. I'm watching A Block heavy, man. I'm watching A Block heavy.
For sure. I mean, to me, I'm leaning towards A Block as well because I love Shingo and I want to see the Jay White Ospreay how that folds out. But I gotta commend New Japan. I haven't been able to do this for the past 12, 14 months on what they've done here with the blocks. I think they're perfectly balanced. I could do a little bit without the LIJ versus LIJ, Bullet Club versus Bullet Club stuff. I could do a lot without that. Like B Block is going to be full of that. Again, we're going to get another Naito Sonata. We're going to get another Naito Evil. Like it's just going to be too much for me. But I think it's balanced out and they're continuing storylines, so I get it. But again, really solid. I hope that we feel the same. This might be the podcast of shame. I want to go back to this on night 15 and see how we feel about things. But again, like really solid stuff from New Japan, and I cannot wait to watch tonight with all of you and kind of trade notes and see what we think, Cyrus.
Yeah, it's G1 season, man. It's been I love tournaments. Like I think they're really nice. Like we're currently doing the Stardom tournament as well on the channel, and I have the spreadsheet, logging into matches. I have like a notes and comments section on it, so we could like see how each other feel on it, and it's great. So I'm excited to talk about New Japan again, and I'm really hoping by like night 5, I'm not sick of watching this.
It's always a drag, and it's gonna be a weird drag this year because in October I also watch 30 days of horror movies, and I gotta watch G1 too. So it's gonna be quite the challenge for me. Can I do it? We shall see. The content's going to be even better for it because I'm also on late fees in October, and we're doing all horror movies in October too. So until Monday, actually, let's talk about our schedule really quick before we get out of here. You can expect us back here on the show. We're going to be doing episode 1 will be September 21st. Episode 2 will be September 25th. There is a break between night 1 and night 2 before we go into a marathon block of, I think, about 4 nights in a row of nonstop G1. So I think our 3rd episode will be around October 1st, and we'll kind of go around everything that's happened since then. So stay tuned with us. Put us on your calendars. Please subscribe to the A Show Network. Please leave us a comment. Follow me at OGJohnny5 and Cyrus at H_visibility. Obviously, we have the A Show spot callers and the War Report there, but you can also expect the G Show. So we're going to be bringing you guys content all throughout the month of October. Thank you guys for listening. Didn't want to make the show too long, but it ended up being almost 30 minutes anyway. We will be talking to you on Monday. Thank you guys. We'll see you later.